Welcome, Earthlings! From the minds of Dylan Oltoft and Rob McNair, we bring you Laughing on a Prayer!
We will podcast on the beaches. We will podcast with growing confidence in the air. We will podcast in the fields and on the landing grounds. We will podcast in the streets. We will never stop podcasting until, of course, we are either cancelled or people stop listening to the shit we have to say. Never before in the history of human podcasting will so much be buggered up by so few for so many.
Oh, is it my go now?
Yeah.
I think I should put a little skip button at the start there. No, I think I should do something as well. It takes more than a bullet to stop the podcasting moose. Because that's what FDR said when he got shot, wasn't it? It takes more than a bullet to stop me jacking off.
Absolute mad lad, that man.
Yeah, well, you got to keep busy. Hello there, everybody, and welcome back to Laughing
on a Prayer.
Imagine if we just stopped it right there. If we ever do a podcast, an April Fool episode, we'll do that. Although I think people will see it when they see the upload is like 1 minute long.
Yeah.
So it might be, oh no, but yeah, we'll do that, and then we'll just eat a packet of crisps for a whole solid hour.
Yeah.
No audio.
Does not speak.
We've given it away now.
Oh, well, we're going to have to do something worse.
Pretend you didn't hear any of that. No, nobody's made it this far in anyway.
No, I don't think they have.
Welcome! As you all know, we are very close to that spooky time of the year, but before we get on to our extravagant Halloween special bonanza, we are taking a little bit of a blast from the past this week, aren't we, Rob?
Yes, we are. We are blasting from the past in. And we are talking about, well, everything that has passed. In other words, history.
For example, this morning for breakfast, I had a banana and some porridge. That's history!
It is. Not entirely riveting history, but history nonetheless.
It was a very good banana.
Yes, well, then it's, slightly elevated the history then.
Well, there you go. Where do bananas come from? That's history. Ask your Alexa right now. Alexa! Just in case any listeners had an Alexa in vicinity while listening to this, I just activated their Alexa. Right, yes, we are, of course, going to be tackling history. Now, me and Rob are insane history buffs, as I'm sure a lot of you have noticed in previous episodes, how we've whittled on about the past.
Yep, although I wouldn't say history buffs. We're more like...
Cretins.
Cretins who like history. We're cretins who like history.
So, those of you that are much aware of the Laughing on a Prayer drinking game, get those bottles ready.
Yes, because any mention of Hitler...
Or Nazis.
Take
a shot.
Hitler was a Nazi, wasn't he? Wasn't he?
Well,
yeah. I think Hitler was a Nazi, wasn't he?
Yeah. I don't know. You know how it is these days with kids and their trends.
Yeah, I know. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's why no one hates music. That's why there's so much hate towards the arts now, because he was an artist.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they blame us for that.
I mean, I'm just saying, guys, don't. Artists, when they're told that they can't be artists, they kind of go the opposite way. So, fund the arts.
Yes, keep your children interested in the arts. You don't want them going into politics.
No. 9. I mean,
they might lose a nut. Anywho, so as usual, do we have any special comments for questions, Rob?
No.
No, why aren't any of you guys leaving us questions? Give us some questions so we can answer them.
I think it's because they got smart and got the fuck out of there.
Fair enough. Alright, but we are going to start with our usual questions to each other, which have to be historically based.
Yes.
Rob, do you have a question for me?
Yeah, I do have a question, you.
Holy shit.
Who would win in a fight between Joseph Stalin and Hitler? Like a fist fight. Not war, like a fist fight, like in a boxing ring.
How old are they? Is like Stalin 5 days away from dying and Hitler's 12, or are they in their prime?
No, because they're sort of the same age, aren't they? So during the 40s, like if they did like a Logan Paul KSI thing and were just like, let's have a boxing match, who do you think would win?
Oh, Stalin. Once again, Hitler only has one nut, so that's half the testosterone in his fights, that sort of thing. No, definitely. Stalin was a fucking Bolshevik. He had to deal when communism meant something. Not these days where it's just like everyone should get a sandwich. No, back when you were swinging on the legs of aristocrats as they hang from a lamppost.
Yeah, as the old and anything that you said against communism gets you shot.
That's the level of degree. What Hitler's no badass. He went to prison and wrote a book. Stalin went to prison. He'd pull a Kingpin from the Daredevil series and take it over.
The thing is, Hitler didn't even write the book. Someone else wrote it and he just sort of dictated what he wanted to say.
That's even worse. He went to prison and had a servant to write his book for him.
Yeah, yeah, pretty much.
No way anyone is backing Hitler on anything. I wouldn't even trust him to fucking mix my paints for me.
I wouldn't trust him to draw faces.
I mean, don't get me wrong, Stalin has he had like a dead hand or something, didn't he? So he'd have to move around a little bit. But again, much like Putin today, who is, Stalin, I believe, had like a dead hand or something.
Yeah, so Hitler might only have half the testosterone, but Stalin only has half the whacking power.
I would bet Stalin himself, if creatively enough, would figure out a way to kill you with his feet. Like some sort of Uma Thurman foot stranglehold.
I can imagine him in like red, boxing shorts with the hammer and sickle on his arse.
No, he's got like those prison style tattoos on his back of a hammer and sickle, but it's been one of those done prison style. No. Definitely gonna vote for Stalin there, sort of thing. Even you can do a lot of things with one hand, as a lot of men understand when they first wake up.
Yeah, exactly. You can do it 3 or 4 times a day if you really try.
God damn, that's exhausting.
Yeah. Well,
you're gonna pump those up. Those are rookie numbers.
That's how bored you get.
Definitely backing Stalin there.
Definitely backing Stalin. All right, fair enough.
All right then, Rob. I got a question for you.
Yeah.
If you could go back in time and speak to any historic figure and ask him to do something differently, and Hitler's off limits on this one.
Okay.
That's too obvious. You can go back in time and basically think of it like you're taking over the body of a historic person's powers top advisor.
Yeah.
And you can see if you can try and alter their course of what they want to do.
Okay.
Who are you going to mess with?
You just assume that I'm going to mess with someone.
Oh, yes. Educated guess.
Yeah. Do you know what I might do?
What?
I might go to Caesar and be like, mate, stay in today. On Friday the 13th when he's murdered. I'll be like, mate, I think chill here today.
So you're going to prevent the assassination of Julius Caesar?
Yeah.
So why? Why do you think that'd be better? Why should he have lived?
Oh, I didn't say it was going to be better. I just wanted to see what would happen. Like, how they would act. Because they wanted to kill him.
Why don't they just do it a day later?
Well,
I think they were all pretty much gung-ho. Like, oh, it failed. It wasn't there that one time. Okay, back to work.
Well, then I'd employ bodyguards for Caesar. I would invent... Can I take shit back with me? Because I'd probably get like a Kevlar vest or something, give it to Caesar, be like, okay, I know this looks weird, but wear this underneath your toga.
You can't take shit with you, but I guess you could go to the local blacksmith and tell him what to make and how. Yeah. If you yourself have knowledge of future shit, you can give him.
Yeah. So
why not just give him a machine gun then?
Give them...
Go back in time and give Julius Caesar a machine gun. See what fucking happens.
Oh my god! Can you imagine that shit? Like going back to like American like Revolution and going to like George Washington or something. Like, mate, here's a machine gun.
Why give that gun to the people that already won? Let's give the British Army more of a fighting chance.
I do it during the war.
Wait, which civil war? Against America or against themselves?
No, the Revolution.
Oh right, the Revolutionary War.
Yeah. I'd give George Washington.
Well, back in those times, they had what, muskets?
Yeah, muzzle loaders, single shot.
Yeah, so if they had that sort of weaponry there, took it apart, realised what made it tick and that.
Yeah.
I wonder how that would have advanced weaponry. Like, would the nuke have then been discovered in like 1914 or something?
Oh my God, that would have been bad. Or I might invent like a good tank in World War One, like a modern day tank. Be like, look, guys, here is the best model of how to build a tank. Now build it before the French do and take all the credit.
So you're going to go to Lloyd George, who I believe was the Prime Minister during World War One in England, and give him the best tank design.
Yeah.
Or better yet, save everyone some time and just say, that's the Enigma code. Google it. So that's what it was. Go back. Here you are, guys. I've saved you a few days.
Or give the Archduke of Hungary a bulletproof vest.
Oh, yeah.
That might actually...
And then every world leader's like, we need to contrive some other bullshit reason to fight each other.
Yeah, exactly, but at least it won't be like that guy. I mean, he was a pretty bad dude anyway. Do you know he used to hunt tigers with a machine gun?
So
he was a bit of an arsehole, to be fair.
Oh, yeah, because trophy hunters don't exist today, do they?
Yeah, no, but it's like...
I mean, if
did
he
it
was
with a machine gun, you're just like, come on, man.
Well,
like,
yeah.
Give him a fighting chance.
Hunters in America are allowed armor-piercing rounds. How many deer wear a bulletproof vest?
Yeah, but it's like, why would you use an armor-piercing round? We're going down the gun route, but...
Yeah. And that wouldn't happen. That wouldn't have happened if the tiger had a gun.
Exactly, we should give tigers guns.
We should arm tigers, because they're clearly not scary enough.
Yeah, what we need to do is we need to, like, mount a gun on top of the back of a tiger somehow.
What, like motion sensor?
Yeah,
so nothing
exactly.
could go up behind it.
And then it's linked up to the tiger's eyes.
I feel like a machine gun would be heavy, like you're going to fuck up its spine.
Oh, no, not a machine gun on the tiger. We'll give it a lighter kind of gun. Like some sort of rifle. Some sort of, like a submachine gun, like a little MP5 or a Mac 10.
And then we'll attach laser beams to the heads of frickin' sharks.
Yeah, exactly. See? That's university thinking right there.
Right then, what's my next question?
Okay, your next question is... you are currently in Greece. Okay, you're currently in Greece.
Modern day?
No, this is ancient Greece.
Ancient Greece.
Ancient Greece, right.
Okay, I'll attach a number to that. AD or BC?
Oh, it's BC.
Okay, really going far back.
Yeah, we're going far back on this.
Okay, let's go for it.
BC, right.
Before comedy.
Before comedy. But then, sooner or later in the future, it's going to be AC, which is after comedy.
Or Assassin's Creed. Anyway, I'm in ancient Greece. What am I doing?
Yeah, sorry, you're in ancient Greece. What modern technology that you know of are you going to bring to the ancient Greeks?
Toilets.
Like one thing, toilets.
Yes. And I know the Romans came around with like their aqueducts and their plumbing, but I want the most sophisticated plumbing right from the off. If I can go back in time and give one of the most sophisticated forms of hygiene, because how many millions have died through dysentery or horrible hygiene relating to that? Because once it starts there, it will spread like wildfire. The whole world will become a toilet economy.
Yeah.
There'll be drains that'll reach the skies themselves.
I feel if a drain reaches the sky, then you might be doing it wrong.
Well, those oil towers where oil shoots out at the top?
Oh, God.
Imagine that, but like 50 feet high.
That's so weird.
Yeah.
Do is it Saudi Arabia, I think?
They have toilets, I'm pretty sure.
Yes. Yeah, they do. But I was just saying that there's a massive black pyramid. Or is it? Where is it?
I think Egypt have those.
Yeah, but no, this is like an art piece. It's a massive black pyramid that just shoots out like blasts of flame at random intervals.
That sounds like Las Vegas.
It does sound like Las Vegas, but it's not in Las Vegas.
Are you thinking of Dubai?
Oh, yes, Dubai. There's a massive black pyramid that like shoots out like massive jets of flame at just completely random intervals.
Well, I'm not giving that to the Greeks. Who knows what they're going to do with that? Okay, if not toilets, I'll give it maybe a top 3.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, top 3.
Okay, so toilets are there because again, that would just change humanity, because it's also one of the most innocent, most advanced forms of technology. No one can abuse the power of a toilet. Like, you gave a machine gun.
I don't know, man.
You gave the machine gun to George Washington. Like, how's something that's created that can only do good?
Machine guns do lots of good. Tell me that if you fired a machine gun, you wouldn't feel good. I reckon you would.
A certain part of me would, yes.
Yeah, exactly. Like.
I guess the electric toothbrush.
Oh, I thought you were going completely different direction there.
No.
I thought you were going like the electric chair.
No, they don't need that. So yes, definitely the toothbrush, because again, dental hygiene and all that. Let's have a history full
You're thinking smart on this one.
I have some. There's some method to the madness. So yeah, the electric toothbrush, or at least the concept of brushing your fucking teeth in general, and lastly, the vibrator.
I mean,
Do I need to explain that one?
No, you don't.
How I believe that one's going to cause world peace, because the earliest that women were able to achieve the orgasm in humanity's history, the better.
Yeah, that's true. But the thing is, like, they were really, like, all about the sex anyway, the Greeks, ancient Greeks. There was not, I mean, it's pretty heinous now, but it's like, there was not a thing, like, pedophilia wasn't, like, a thing. Like...
Oh, well, or at least a documented thing.
Yeah, but it's like... I mean, yeah, it wasn't like a crime. It was like...
More of a national sport.
Yeah, if you wanted to, like, ram kids in ancient Greece, then that's just what they fucking did.
I don't know how you got from vibrators to this, but go on.
Well, I was talking about how they were just all about, like, sex and stuff. And also, they did have a concept of virginity, which did not... it didn't matter about... but sodomy wasn't, like, a thing. So it's like, oh, sorry, you can't have regular sex, but I can suck the soul out of you.
I think that's how a lot of Bible Belt teenagers in America are like, oh, as long as they don't do it in the vagina, everywhere else is okay.
Yeah, you know that song, Fuck Me in the Ass Because I Love Jesus? And what's it, Family Guy to it with ear sex?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Once you go black, you go deaf.
Yeah.
No, but seriously, if I could bring those three things to pass, toilets, toothbrushes, and vibrators, I think with the butterfly effect, I come back to present day and everything would be so much better. There'd be such less disease in history, such cleaner smiles, and much happier women.
Although, to be fair, like you said, the electric toothbrush, that could double as, a vibrator, probably.
Only in one specific area, because as we know, the length of a toothbrush is very thin.
Yeah.
So that's only going to be regulated to one specific part, which can work.
Oh, you mean one specific part of the female anatomy that, really gives them pleasure?
Yes, that requires that sort of attention, whereas vibrator... I really don't want this video to just be you and me debating vibrators.
I'm not debating vibrators, I think they're great.
They are absolutely perfect. It gives me much less pressure.
Yeah, exactly.
There's the reason it's called a marital aid.
Yeah.
Alright then. So yeah, those are the three things I bring.
Okay, so we got toilets, electric toothbrushes, and vibrators.
Right.
Fair enough.
Okay.
Oh, it's my one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's your turn for one.
Okay. Right.
Wait, no, it's my turn to ask you one. You just asked me about if I could bring this up to pass.
Yeah.
Right, here we go. Okay, so you can... Let's say... You know what? No, it's a random point in history. Any point in history.
Okay.
You can make any two countries in the world go to war with each other. At any point in history, for whatever reason you want.
Okay.
Who's going to fight each other?
Who's going to fight each other?
And when?
In history and when?
Like, you could be in the middle of World War II and out of nowhere you want Sweden and fucking Vietnam to go to war.
Do you know what I do? World War II, Ireland and Switzerland, because those guys were both neutral. I think they should be included. I think I don't know.
How are you going to start that off?
I'm trying to think how I would envision it. It's like, oh, you are. I can't do a Swiss accent because it's a whole mixture. It's like Swiss German, Swiss French. The Swiss. You're just doing. I can't even think of how Ireland and Switzerland would go to war or where they would fight.
Maybe some sort of trade disagreement over whiskey and cheese.
Whiskey and chocolate, yeah. Or yeah.
I think Swiss are
wait,
surely Swiss are better known for their cheese than chocolate. Isn't chocolate Norwegian?
Cheese, yeah. Chocolate. Oh, Belgian love chocolate.
Yes.
Belgians love chocolate. Belgian chocolate.
Okay, so that'll be.
Yeah, it'd be, but I don't know where they'd fight though, because like Ireland.
Not much of France left, is there?
Yeah, because yeah, can you imagine that? Just like that, the Allies, like the Allies and the Nazis are fighting, and then just suddenly Switzerland and the Irish just having some battles. They're like, mate, like we're already here, fucking leave us.
I love how the British Navy's just there, and out of nowhere, an Irish warship goes by. Like, where the fuck are they going?
Where the fuck are those guys going?
Just going around all of
the fuck the bejesus out of Switzerland.
Thing is, every other country would be so preoccupied. It's not like they're going to stop them. Like communications, is your ship here to attack us? No, carry on.
Yeah.
Like we've got bigger shit to worry about.
But then, if Ireland invaded Switzerland, Ireland would definitely lose.
Why? I'm very unfamiliar with the Irish special forces.
Well, it's more to do with the fact that the Swiss. First of all, they have national service in the Swiss, and also...
are they rich?
I don't know. They are kind of rich, I guess. They're doing all right, the Swiss. But like in World War II, and well, throughout, like the Swiss have had national service. So you train as a soldier, you know combat like tactics and skills. Then you go back as a civilian, but you're allowed to keep your rifle. So basically, if someone was to invade Switzerland, you would be beset upon by a load of Swiss people that know military tactics and all have guns.
But what if the Swiss invaded the Irish?
Yeah, I mean, you could rally a massive army, I guess.
Because technically, if the Swiss attacked, went round and went into our waters, we'd have to get involved.
I think the Swiss are landlocked, though, aren't they? So they don't really have a navy.
Oh, you're right. My geography's a little bit off.
I hope they're landlocked, though, because they don't really have... And also, like, the Swiss like mountains. Like, imagine trying to fight in those. Like, that would be fucking terrible. And they all know how to ski and shit. Like, the Winter War, like, in the Finns... The Finns used to have skiing troops that would, ski about the place, ambush people, and then...
I won't lie, I saw a meme on the Facebook, and it was this country in the middle of Europe, I can't remember its name, and they've actually have a registered navy, and then they're in the middle of Europe.
Oh, actually.
And it was like a small picture of a boat on a river. That's that country's navy, because they're in the middle of land.
Here's a fun fact. Did you know that North Korea has the largest submarine fleet in the world? But they're all really shit diesel subs from the 1950s.
So they bought them off eBay from Russia or something?
Well, yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. It's technically the largest navy, but
well,
it's just
what's the
really
postage and packaging for that?
Well, I don't think you... I mean, you can post it by sea, can't you?
Ah.
Sorry. I'm sorry.
Fucking Amazon Prime, mate.
Yeah, no, I would make Ireland and Switzerland fight each other.
And you say Swiss will win?
I think the Swiss would probably win, yeah.
Do you think their battle will last longer than the Second World War? Like, if you said right in the middle of the Second World War, so America and Japan are fighting, and obviously we're fighting the Nazis and Nazis.
I reckon it probably would, because like Irish people, they don't give up like ever. So it's like maybe the Swiss would beat them in a conventional war, but the Irish would just, as we know, like insurgency and stuff like that. They would just carry on going until Switzerland would be like, oh, this is shit, let's go home.
The Swiss mess with their trade routes, so no more whiskey can be sailed there.
Yeah, exactly. And you do not want to you do not want to fight like an Irishman who is angry that he is sober.
I was about to say, all of Ireland's forces all at once have a hangover.
Yeah, not stereotyping or anything.
Absolutely not. Hey, what started the Revolutionary War? Tea. Tax on tea started. Yeah. Where they tipped it all out of the boat, didn't they?
Boston Tea Party.
Yeah, and obviously because Americans are so obsessed with tipping, it started a whole war.
Yeah, exactly.
They just love to tip. So.
Yeah, that is true. Like, can you imagine
I'm
that?
sorry.
Can you imagine that? Like, just like, so like, I mean, the Brits, like, were taxing the Americans and the colonials a lot. Do you think there was just like the sort of tipping point where like George Washington just woke up and was like, is that another tax? Oh, I'm fucking done, mate. We're changing.
Maybe that should have been the advice you did. Go to fucking to the English
King
and
George,
say
yeah,
and say don't tax. Trust us on this.
Tax tea. And tea means kind of a lot to us. So you can understand why that upset us.
You're doing well with opium in China. Just cut it. Just
don't fucking tax the tea, guys.
Calm the fuck down and keep an eye on Argentina. See you later.
Yeah. Yeah. So do you think like George Washington might have had like a sort of tally? He's like, okay, so when it gets to this many taxes, that's when we start flipping shit. Okay, like. Yeah. So yeah.
Okay, I like it. That's a good one. You'll go.
Yeah. Okay.
Poor Swiss.
Yeah. Poor Switzerland, Ireland. Okay.
I don't think there's any like negative stereotypes. Obviously, they have the cheese thing, but I can't think of a single country that hates them. I mean,
you have Swiss watches, Swiss Army knives. It's because they don't get involved in stuff. Do you know what I mean? like that's the thing.
They keep their head down.
You can't be angry at the Swiss because like.
I think just a lot of the Netherlands. Obviously, there's the Vikings thing and all that stuff, but no one has a bad word to say about Norway and that. If anyone's listening right now and they're neighbours to Norway and like, what the hell do these English people think they're saying?
I think wasn't Norway like. I don't think Norway fought actually, or were they? Was it Denmark that didn't fight? It was one country that was beaten in like 6 hours.
Anyone that's not in Europe listening to this, Europe is weirdly mapped out.
Yeah, Europe's a bit odd. I think it might have been Norway. It was conquered in like 6 hours during World War II. Or was it Denmark? It was.
Well, hang on a sec. Obviously, Hitler got was it Czechoslovakia then Poland, or Poland and Czechoslovakia?
No, it was Czechoslovakia first because he wanted to move in, and there was the Munich talks, where they were trying to persuade Hitler to not move into Czechoslovakia, and it was very back and forth because, it was sort of, it went back and forth for, sort of each kind of meeting. So like one meeting, Hitler would say like, oh no, because I don't want war. I don't want war. I fought in the Great War. I don't want war. I know war is absolutely terrible. But then, like a few hours later, he'll be like, I'm gonna fucking roll in there unless you do what I say. He was all over the place.
It's not really that surprising that the Second World War was so horrific, because the sequel is always but worse than the first.
Yeah, exactly. And it was. But that brings me on to my question.
Hang on a sec. Could maybe that have been something to influence? Go back and make sure the Treaty of Versailles doesn't anally rim the Germans. Therefore, they're not already pissed off, so they've got no reason to to vote for this fucking rhetoric-spewing lunatic.
Yeah, potentially. Maybe.
The Treaty of Versailles and the war guilt what really pissed off the Germans.
I mean, it's really, it's very, very, like, crazy. I mean, certainly it was...
Any of you get a chance, Google what the actual terms of that want and the money France was demanding. It's fucking outrageous.
They did like a calculation that if Germany had actually paid back the reparations that it was demanded, they wouldn't have been able to do it until like 1996. And then there was the Rhineland, which was very disputed by the French and the Germans because there was the Franco-Prussian War. And the Germans held the Rhineland, but the French wanted the Rhineland. And the French when the Germans couldn't pay, the French just moved in and just took stuff.
Everything that wasn't nailed down, they just hauled it back off.
They just took stuff.
Which is interestingly ironic, given in East Germany, I believe that happened to them when Berlin was divided up. The Russians took everything there that wasn't nailed down back to Russia.
Yeah, pretty much. So anyway, this is my question.
Yes.
Would you rather fight in World War I or World War II? And where? Which theatre of war are you fighting in?
I was about to ask, what branch of the military am I in?
Let's say you're an infantryman, let's say.
I mean, like, Navy, Army, or Air Force?
Well, yeah, but Army, so you're infantry, aren't
Shit.
you?
But I say, stick me in the Navy in the First World War. They're the ones that won
Battle
it.
of Jutland, that might have been. Assuming you'd be in the Royal Navy and not the Kriegsmarine.
And I have to choose between the First and the Second World War?
Yeah. And which theatre as well. So you're not necessarily on the Western Front. You could be, at Gallipoli or elsewhere. Because it really was a world war, funnily enough.
Can I decide when I was conscripted? So I can be at the end of the First World War and then maybe I have a chance?
I joined the army on November 12th, 1918.
And then for the rest of my life, I can say, I was in the Great War,
No, we'll say it's 1916, 1917. Like, it's kicked, it's fucking at the worst point, right?
Oh, good, so my chances are fair. I may as well go to the Second World War.
No, your chances are not fair at all. They're really unfair.
I'd be better off in the second because everyone knows in the first one I'd just be mowed down. They just sent wave after wave after wave of cannon fodder just being trimmed like grass.
More people were killed in the second, though.
Well, there are a lot more
And also,
countries
if you're a
involved.
British Army soldier, actually, your casualties are not as high compared to, like, others.
I'd say I have more of a chance, though. Like, where am I being based? Okay, I'm in the...
Well, yeah, no, you get to choose where you're being based, right? So,
I
like,
guess
you could be, like,
maybe
in
I'll go
Africa...
France.
So if it's World War Two, it's, like, D-Day, post-D-Day. So 44, 45.
So after D-Day. Good. I wouldn't do well running up a beach.
No. Unless you got your cardio and shit.
Yeah, like I look a guy with cardio. Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Second World War. Post me in France after D-Day. No, I can't take part in Stalingrad, can I?
I mean,
there weren't any allies.
You're British
over there. Oh.
Why would you want to take part in Stalingrad? That was the worst.
They won that. Russia fucking decimated the Germans.
Yeah, but Stalingrad, that is the worst fucking battle you want to be in.
A lot of people argue it was Stalingrad that was the turning point instead of D-Day.
Yeah. I mean, the Russians... history will dictate, funnily enough, that you don't fuck with the Russians.
Putin, if you're listening right now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Don't fuck with the Russians. And that's another interesting fact, is that people say that, Hitler was really dumb and Napoleon was really dumb because they invaded Russia during the winter. It's like, no, they didn't. They invaded during the summer. But Russian is fucking massive.
Yeah.
So before they even got to places, like, it was like the seasons had changed.
Absolutely fucking mental. Again, they won, and I don't know where to fucking base myself. It was a war. I'm gonna die. I'm just one fuck.
Yeah, but like, where would you want to go?
Home.
Yeah.
Can I maybe get my foot blown off and I'm just sent back and discharged and sent back home?
What, did you do it yourself, or?
Oh, no, I'm not a cap. They would have just put me on a firing... They would have put me on against a fucking firing squad if I'd done that.
Yeah.
I think they still had those in the Second World War, firing
Did
squads.
they? I can't remember. I mean, you would have certainly got... Like, they could tell if someone had shot themselves in the foot.
Even then, like, gun diagnostics and that...
Well, no, it's just the fact, it's like, so how do you get a bullet, like, directly shooting downwards into your foot?
I think a German was celebrating. He shot a bullet into the air in merriment, and it just happened to cross and landed in my foot.
Very compelling point. Now up against the wall.
Wait, front or back? I'm doing whatever I can to get out of this.
God. Well, I mean, it's illegal to be gay, so, I mean...
Oh, yes, we're still in the 40s.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Exactly. Oh, great, they'll put me in a mental asylum then. There we go. They did that. Google that shit. They actually fucking did that. Gone off the rails a little bit here.
Yeah, just...
You've asked me to pick a point in... where will I not die horribly the most in Europe? Pretty everywhere. That's why America thrived after the Second World War, because all of Europe was bombed and shelled to fuck.
Yeah.
America's mainland wasn't touched. That's why they were fucked.
But...
Pearl Harbor, yeah.
Well, no, not Pearl Harbor. I believe there is an account of the Japanese dropping, like, not dropping, sorry. The Japanese had this idea of, like, balloons that had...
What, like Pennywise?
Yeah, kind of, but, like, hot air balloons that had, like, bombs on them, and then they'd float them over America, and then they would drop on America.
Hot air balloons?
Yes.
That's more ludicrous than Operation Sea Lion.
Yes, that is more ludicrous than Operation Sea Lion. And for those of you who don't know what Operation Sea Lion, it was a contingency for the Nazis to invade Britain, which, believe it or not even Hitler wanted to invade Britain. So, that's kind of how nuts it was. But they drew up plans that, unfortunately, lots of them have been lost because, when the Russians entered Berlin, they just kind of wrecked the place and started destroying shit. So lots of stuff was kind of lost.
Hence why a lot of people believe that Hitler retired to Argentina, because they didn't produce a body, did they?
Yeah, but I believe Hitler's SS guards, like, burnt him.
Yeah, we're told that.
Yeah.
This will not be the conspiracy episode.
No,
We're
this is
doing
not-
that another time.
We're doing that another time.
We'll talk about that a little bit more. Okay, we've each got one question left.
Yeah.
Rob,
Yes.
you are God,
Well.
as we both know.
Yeah.
And you have the ability, you're overseeing all of mankind's wars all throughout history.
Okay, yeah.
Yes. Absolutely every conflict ever. What do? You have the power to divine intervention. If you want, you could slowly influence this or that, this or anything. Or do you just get some popcorn and be like, this is why I made you in the first place?
Well, so here's the thing. Right.
Is God going to end war? Doesn't look like it.
Well, here's the thing, is that there's two different camps believing that people have free will and people don't have free will. Everything's predetermined. If everything's predetermined, that means that I'm an arse because I just made loads of people kill themselves. But if people have free will, I'm going to be having to fucking do damage control all the time to stop people from killing each other. Because obviously I don't, we're all,
Well, don't you have infinite power? I don't think it's going to stress you out that much.
Well, yeah, but it's the amount that people want to fight each other and kill each other, I would have to be dealing with that constantly.
If everything's predetermined, why do you even need to exist?
Oh no, but if it isn't predetermined, they have free will. Because if they have free will, that means that humans are going to kill each other.
So there's no specific war you would be biased to sort of turn the tides over. You don't want to say, maybe no.
Oh, a specific war, not just in the world. Okay.
No. Well, like I said, you can interfere in any conflict. You could maybe interfere in the Rwandan genocide, or stop the bomb that went on Nagasaki, or you just want to be more snaky about it and shit.
I'd probably genocides. And
yes.
Holocaust, that's not war, that's murder, isn't it? I mean, definitely I'd stop those, for sure. But
probably not the most horrific massacre humanity's ever done, just the most recent one. Obviously the Crusades and the fucking Inquisition may have racked up a higher kill count.
Yeah, quite possibly. This is a tricky one. I mean...
Not easy being God, is it?
Yeah, no, it's not easy being God, and people still hate him for some reason.
Which one?
Yeah, exactly.
Little
Thor.
Disclosure, me and Rob will not say if we're of any faith, that way we can continue to mock all of them.
Yes, exactly.
You say, hey, you can't make fun of that. Well, for all you know, we are that.
Yeah, exactly.
Buddhists are cool, though.
Yeah, Buddhists are cool. I'd probably... oh, man, if I could sway the thing on a war,
Would you replace war with something? Anytime there's about to be a war, everyone has to do a fun fight.
Orgies, yeah.
What about the idea of instead of a war, the world leaders have to get in a boxing ring and beat the shit out of each other, and whoever it's like the thing at the start of what was it, Gladiator? No, not Gladiator. Fucking Troy. Instead of the two armies fighting each other, you just send your two best and they decide.
Trial by combat and shit.
Yeah, but on a war scale. So instead of millions dying, one dies, and the other one just accepts they lost.
Well, this is what I do. If you, instead of bringing the electric toothbrush to people, brought paintball guns to people, and then I would make everyone have a massive, massive paintball gun fight. And whoever won, then they won.
I feel like that would turn humanity to view paint as a currency.
And then I would invest in the paintball industry.
God's going to invest in the paintball.
Yeah.
What bank account is that set up for? God created Bitcoin.
Yeah. Paint coin.
God, that sounds shit.
Yeah, paint coin. That sounds shit. I would...
there you go. God ends warfare by creating warfare.
So if I've got infinite power, what would happen is that if you got shot or blown up, you would die, but for a finite amount of time. So by the time the war's over, you wake up again, and then you're okay.
What about
during the war? You're out of action. You know what I mean?
What about every time someone thinks about doing something violent, they have the most incredible orgasm. Then at the end of it, they'll be too tired to actually do the violent thing they wanted to do.
You could have that, but then, like, if you thought about something violent and you have an orgasm, you're probably pretty mentally unhinged, I think.
No, I just meant it's like a fail-safe. Like, hey, that guy cut me off in traffic. I'm going to go kill his kids.
Yeah, but, like, people love having orgasms, right? It's supposed to make us feel good. So thinking about violent stuff and feeling good about it, I think that would cause more war.
Okay, I think there's a middle ground here that can be reached. Like, I'm just talking about something to distract you away from doing the violent thing. Like, okay, because you're going to go to sleep right afterwards. Like, eh.
I would make it so if you killed someone, you feel what it's like. Like, if you shot someone, you feel what it's like to be shot.
Ah, the Justice Zone from Red Dwarf.
I don't know. I haven't watched Red Dwarf.
There was an episode of Red Dwarf where Rimmer was on the hook for all the people that died on Red Dwarf, and he was taken to a special ship that could simulate this thing called the Justice Zone. Once you're inside it, any crime you committed, it happened to you. So if you tried to set someone on fire, you would catch fire. If you stole something from someone, something of yours would go missing.
Okay.
So
yeah. What goes around comes around.
Yeah, so the idea is that it makes you adhere to the law, and by the time you leave the prison, it's second nature.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so there would definitely have to be something that would make people...
All right then, so worldwide paintball warfare. Fair enough, thank you, God.
Yeah.
You've done it again.
No. Thank you, children.
Right,
that sounded way worse.
It's not going to sound any better.
No,
Final question for me.
Okay, right. Okay. Drugs are bad, okay.
War is bad, okay.
War is bad, okay.
You know what's depressing?
My life.
40 minutes and nearly everything we've referenced about history so far has been war-related. As if humanity's never achieved anything else in history.
History is violent. But this leads me on to my question.
Ooh. Yes.
If you could take credit for inventing one thing that is, people love in, great inventions, what would it be?
Fire. I'm going to be a caveman that invented fire, and I will just get all the cave poon.
It'll be warm.
Yep. I invented fire. I am single-handedly the greatest inventor of all of humanity's history.
But technically, you didn't invent fire. I invented fire because I'm God. You just discovered fire. I
figured out the machinations that I can make fire appear when I will, because I get the stones in the twigs and rub them against my dick, and I've got fire.
No, but you discovered fire. You didn't actually make fire.
The point being...
You didn't, invent fire. You discovered it. There's a difference.
Oh, come on.
No, there is. So, inventing, a motor car.
I'll be the wheel, then.
You're going to invent the wheel.
I invent the fucking wheel. Before then, everyone's trying to roll fucking boxes around all day long, and I invent the wheel. And... and years later, people argued whether or not the Earth is shaped like it.
What, flat and circular?
Yeah, people said, but the world's round. Yes, it is round, but it's a coin. Hey,
yeah, exactly.
There's a compromise, flat earthers.
We're just talking about different things.
Christ. But I invent the wheel because I'm still getting all that sweet caveman poon.
Caveman poon?
Okay, cave woman, you know what I mean. I'm getting all the cave woman poon sort of thing. Okay. I invented the wheel. Yeah, remember that guy who discovered fire? Fuck that asshole. I got the wheel.
Yeah. So, what do you think, actually, is... This is sort of leading on to, great inventions of human history. What do you think are, the top three,
Well, that just goes back to my original sort of thing.
Inventions of, What do you think are, the great top three inventions that have benefited human society without...
Smartphones? Okay, let's discredit sort of thing. Oh, that's social media. Yeah, smartphones aren't responsible for social media. All smartphones are is a tool to access, and just like a weapon or anything like that, the tool of itself has immeasurable capabilities. In your hand, your little hand, this little black box, you can access any information you want. Type something into Google and you'll know it.
Yeah.
Any information. You can contact anybody in the world for whatever reason, providing you got a decent contract. It is just a tiny tool of endless possibility.
Yeah, exactly. And, to be sure, like social media influencers, you do need to surround yourself with tools.
So yeah, I'd say definitely a smartphone. What about you? Any other good one?
Yeah, I'd say smartphone definitely, because like you have, access to like the entire knowledge of the the world on a smartphone, like in your hand.
And again, you can access anywhere in the world on it.
Yeah, exactly. And I saw this photo the other day that I thought was really dumb. It was like two people like lying in bed that were supposed to look at smartphones, but whoever it was had photoshopped the smartphone out of their hand and like, oh, look how creepy it is. It's like, mate, you've got like access to the entire knowledge of humanity on that thing, and you'll say, oh, look how creepy it is. Like, no, that's like photoshopping the wheel out of a bike and going, oh, look how stupid this guy looks.
The irony is, someone probably used a smartphone to edit that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like the thing is, it's that fucking thing about people saying like, oh look, not a phone in sight, just people enjoying it, posted on iPhones.
I think people like to have nostalgia for when shit was more inconvenient and horrible, just because they're sort of angry they didn't get to grow
Back
up
in
with
history.
such good shit.
And that's another thing as well. It's like when people say, oh, I wish we could go back to the good old days. Like they have this kind of romantic idea that back then was more peaceful. No, it wasn't.
No, back then was full of racism.
And violence and murder. We are currently living in the most peaceful time that human history has ever had.
I believe there may be a lot of dispute there.
No, it's true. It's true. The mortality rate of humans, as it is today, is as low as it ever has been in human history. Like, don't tell me that going back to like, medieval times when when it was like more people. It's like, no, it fucking wasn't.
Well, no, because Black Death wiped out 8% of them.
Yeah, and violence and like.
You know what's funny? I bet if the black people of the Europe during the bubonic plague had been told, you won't have to get the bubonic plague if you wear masks, I bet you every one of them would have done it.
Yeah, probably would.
There would have been no anti-maskers there if they put on that mask and none of them got the bubonic plague.
Like, but what about my rights? It's like, mate, you're a
I'd
serf.
rather live.
You have no rights.
Not just there, not just under the threat of obviously your lord putting you to the sword. All these people were so preoccupied with just living.
Exactly, and think about that. Like, if you're a criminal, you get executed, you get hanged and shit. Like, it was definitely like history. Like anyone that knows anything about history knows that back then was not a good time to be alive. Now is the best time to be alive.
I would also say, I reckon humans have always just been the way they are. Because believe it or not, you always get it. Every elderly generation believes the previous generation, oh, they're the lazy ones. You typing on your smartphone, I remember when I had to type it on a computer. You run on a computer, I remember when I had to do it on a typewriter. You use the typewriter, I remember when I had to chisel it onto a stone tablet, and so on and so forth.
Do you know what it's called?
What?
It's called duophobia.
Isn't that... Well, we just moved on from the Nazis.
Yeah. No, it's called duophobia, and it goes through, like, every generation of being like, oh, you kids today, or blah, 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 blah. And then the generation before them will be like, oh, those kids today, oh, God. And it goes, that's what it's called.
My favourite is people that says, it's not natural. The creator wouldn't, if the creator wanted us to fly, he would have given us wings. Well, why are you wearing clothes?
Yeah, exactly.
You weren't born with clothes, were you?
I mean, I would walk around. Well, no, I wouldn't, because we're in the UK and it's fucking freezing. And my dick's small enough, but I mean, given the chance on a nice hot day, probably would do it. I think another great invention that has definitely benefited humanity is the plague.
Toasty maker. Oh, sorry, go on.
Oh God, I'm going to change it now. It's the toasty maker.
It is an amazing invention we can talk about in a minute. But what did you say?
The aeroplane.
Yeah, flying's good shit.
I think it's the aeroplane, because aeroplanes are a heck of a lot faster than boats. I mean, you go on a nice cruise, like whatever, but like to actually sort of get places, aeroplanes are a heck of a lot faster than boats. Now, I guarantee aeroplanes can't quite hold as much cargo as boats can.
What's the fastest military jet can go? Mach 3, is it?
Oh my God, I have no idea. It's probably
like Mach 3 or 4, and that's like breaks the sound barrier shit.
Yeah, I mean, Mach 1, that breaks the sound barrier. Get the sonic boom.
Sonic boom.
Sonic boom. Yeah, it's probably the aeroplane because, it gets you to places in like hours.
True. I could go to Australia, the other side of the world, on a plane. Yeah, it would take maybe 16 hours. I think Australia, the other side of the world.
Something like that. But it's hours compared to months.
Yeah, if I was, sailing there in a fucking dinghy, even a cruise ship or a big fucking liner would take a few days.
Take a long time.
I don't think there's anywhere in the world a plane can't take you to within 24 hours, regardless of where you are. Like, I think the longest flight into a place is at least 18 or 20. I don't think there's a single flight plan that takes longer than 24 hours of flight.
Yeah, that's
so you can go anywhere in the world on a plane, no matter where you are, in less time than a day.
Yeah, which is fucking sick. So the aeroplane is definitely a great invention, I think.
I mean, we've all played GTA where we've hijacked a plane and I've honestly spent time just flying around. We've all done it where we've flown as high as we can get and just jump out.
It's weirdly therapeutic, isn't it? Just flying around.
I think that's where the intrigue of those simulator games come from, like Truck Simulator, Farm Simulator, doing the most mundane thing but with the tiniest bit of purpose.
Yeah. I guess because it's supposed to be a simulator. So actually, flying an aeroplane.
Right, so we've got smartphones, planes.
Kind of boring.
The final greatest bit of modern technology that has done nothing but benefit.
The condom, because it stops stupid people from reproducing.
I'd say every broken condom disagrees with you.
Yeah, broken, but they weren't meant to break.
Well, what is?
Cars, they're meant to break.
No, not really. They can break, but that's nothing. Maybe.
Break.
Maybe Legos.
I thought you meant break as in sorry.
No, you didn't, you sack of shit.
No. Both of those two things that he said are both true. No, I didn't, and I am a sack of shit.
I guess maybe a pen?
A pen to write.
That's a pretty cool invention. Ink and shit.
Ink and shit.
Now, there's my rap name. Ink and shit, motherfucker.
MC Ink and shit.
Again, we're getting really historic thing. Maybe the oven?
Yeah.
I mean, there's been a lot of sad housewives that put their head in there, but I think overall...
That's sad, man. Provided it's a gas oven. Don't put your head in an electric oven. Doesn't want to do it.
I don't know. There are actual statistics that women tend to, if they're planning to do such a thing, do it in the least painful way possible, i.e. asphyxiation from a pen or an oven or pills, and men blow their brains out.
I also believe... but I heard a thing that women attempt suicide more than men, but when men do it, they succeed more. So men, they attempt suicide less, but when they do, they succeed in suicide.
God, what does a therapist say to a man that failed? Like, God, your dad was right, I can't do anything right.
Mate.
Oh.
I'm probably not a great therapist. Let's went down a fucking dark route. Take a drink, because we said something heinous that's going to get us cancelled.
Oh, I was about to say, I want to quickly interject that, laughter aside, obviously, jokes aside, you saw the disclaimer, me and Rob don't think that. Obviously, it is a very serious issue that should if you need help, go get help. Don't message me, but go get help.
No, because we are the least helpful people.
Yeah,
in the world.
I don't even open the door for myself.
Actually, do you know what? That's a thought.
What, doors? That's a good invention.
Yeah, doors, that's quite good.
We'd all be trapped, we'd all be suffocating without them.
We'd be suffocating without doors. No, we just have
we could never leave a room, could we? Take away, just like in a Sims game, you take away the door and they're just trapped and they die.
I played Sims for an hour once, and I was not good at it.
My favourite story in The Sims has nothing to do with history. I once burned alive a giant group of people so that when you get an urn of their remains, I spelled it out to look like a smiley face I could see from a bird's eye view.
That is psychotic.
It was really fun. I think I recorded them dying and had it on my ringtone for a month or something, but carry on.
Nice, yeah. I'm trying to think. So we've got the aeroplane... And we've got...
Are we so spoiled that we're struggling to think of a third great invention?
Oh, no. I've thought of a third great invention.
I feel like it's something we don't really think about, and that's why it's so good.
I thought of the third great invention.
The fork?
No, the spoon.
How is this?
How is the spoon?
Oh, okay. I was about to say, how's a spoon like superior to a fork? Okay, what are you about to say?
I was going to say clothes, because as people, we do kind of need to wear
Are clothes an invention, or do we use inventions to make clothes?
We use inventions to make clothes, but like also the invention of wearing garments.
I never thought of a shirt as an invention. More a result of an invention.
A result of an invention. But people were wearing clothes before like sewing machines were about, right? Like they like make their own clothes. Because like clothes aren't a natural thing, are they? So like fire is natural.
But look at the fashion industry. You can't say clothes are universally a good thing. Clothes can be a tool of weaponized fuckery.
Yeah, they can, but you still need to wear like stuff.
Again,
I think the basic concept, like fundamentally, a function of clothing is to keep you warm.
Oh yeah, and protect your frail skin from being scratched.
Yeah, exactly.
And shit.
Because like we are as a species, it's our brains that make us very strong. Whereas like if humans were sort of had the same mental capacity as like a dog, we would have been wiped out a long time ago. Because if you think about it,
we would have been a lot happier though.
Yeah, exactly. We are kind of pathetic.
You know what makes a dog happy? A sock.
And
you take a sock out and give it to a dog, they'll go fucking crazy.
And food.
Could you imagine being that easily happy?
But moving on.
God, I'm sad.
So we've got clothes.
I somewhat contest that. Yes, obviously clothes are absolutely amazing, but part of me feels like in terms of like something that's universally benefited mankind.
I think clothes have.
I guess you're right.
The combustion engine.
What about the internet?
We said that was smartphones, didn't we?
Yeah, but again, the internet itself came before smartphones.
Oh, I did.
Ah.
Yes, very true, very true.
And once again, it goes without saying, the internet, again, is a tool that, if misused, can create, obviously, all the cyberbullying and the deaths that have occurred because of the internet, the dark web and...
But much like anything.
But one of the greatest things that has ever existed to help benefit mankind, porn.
Yes.
Is, what's that old gag? It's like 80% of the internet is porn.
Yeah. Yeah. But again, like...
If mankind woke up tomorrow and could not access internet porn, what would we do?
Have sex with actual people? I don't know. Fuck.
Really? What's that like?
I don't know.
Yeah, about to say.
I mean, I have run my hand under like a warm tap before.
Wow. Yeah, I stopped feeling stuff after I was like 19. Well, this historic chat really went down an interesting barrel.
I think you are right with the internet. It's like much like with anything. Like if you misuse it, like if you misuse alcohol, misuse a car, misuse substances and stuff. Like if you misuse stuff, then yeah, it is bad. But if you use it, responsibly, which I know is kind of a stretch when talking about human beings, but if you use it responsibly, then it can be great. And I think people like to talk shit about how bad the internet is. And it's melting the brains of our children. And it's like...
Do you think recording this podcast is using the internet responsibly?
No. No, it's definitely not. It's definitely not. But the fact that the internet enables us to do it, I think is kind of a good thing, because then people will know to stay away from us.
Yes, hopefully me and Rob have generated so many hours of mind-numbing, explosive diarrhea of entertainment for you all.
Yeah, but there's one more thing I want to ask. We talked about the 3 great inventions. What are 3 terrible inventions, do you think?
Children.
Yes, for sure.
Humans, a man and a woman invent a child, and they're just the worst thing ever.
They are.
Yeah. Okay, I guess... I wouldn't say... Obviously, your obvious thing is say, the nuclear bomb. But if it wasn't for the nuclear arms, America and Russia would have gone to war in the Cold War.
It was called Operation Unthinkable. There was a bit like... it was contingency for what would happen if the Allies actually had to fight the Russians, because they were afraid the Russians might just plough through and take over everything.
Oh yeah, everyone sort of believes if it had been Stalin in charge of the Cuban Missile Crisis blockade and not Khrushchev, Stalin would have just went right fucking through it. Yeah. He would have given and just gone right through it, war.
Yeah, Khrushchev reformed a lot of Stalinism.
Well, that's because Stalin was fucking, Stalin.
Yeah.
And then obviously Gorbachev after,
yeah. It was Khrushchev, Gorbachev.
Gorbachev ended the USSR with after trying Perestroika and Glasnost to try and keep it all flowing, but they were just fucked.
See, ladies and gents, we do know shit.
We actually do. We're just idiots.
Yeah,
we're smart idiots. Work that out.
No, I think the nuclear bomb, although it is bad, but nuclear power is good.
Chernobyl might disagree.
Yeah, but that again, if you misuse it and don't do it right, then it will fuck you up.
I was about to say, how was Chernobyl misused? It was just a plant that sadly melted down. I don't know what triggered it.
No, it didn't sadly melted down. Well, it was...
Actually, you've watched the series.
I have, and also I actually studied Chernobyl as well at school. Is that it was basically negligence that there was a fundamental
people got lazy with nuclear power.
And there was a fundamental flaw in the nuclear power stations. And here's the thing: you're in Soviet Russia, so for context, Soviet control, Soviet bloc. Well, they were in Ukraine, but Soviet bloc country, right? You can't really go to the government and say, "Hey, look, your nuclear power station is unsafe," because then your family disappears in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
All right, you can't really say that. Now, as I understand it, they kind of very quietly, eventually, after lots of denial, that nuclear power stations were unsafe, eventually the Russians said, okay, look, we will quietly change our nuclear power stations to make sure that this stuff doesn't happen again.
That sounds a lot like a current global epidemic that started with a country that tried to suppress it.
Yeah. Oh shit! We can't say that word on YouTube.
Let's not be specific and see if this little analogy stays relevant throughout time.
Yeah.
Let's not date it and see if this will always be true.
No. Also, let's not get banned off YouTube because you're not allowed to say that the C word.
If you're listening in 2030 and another government's been called out for trying to suppress something that's fucked over the world, well, there you go. It keeps happening. But there's an interesting thing you mentioned there, because I remember coming across this. It was regarding Chernobyl, and obviously they buried it all in cement and concrete and that, didn't they?
Yeah.
To suppress the radiation. And there was a situation that people, scientists and linguists and all these people got together, because the idea was, say humanity somehow goes extinct, then they wanted to create a way to communicate to whatever existence of humanity that came after them or anything like that, to say, don't dig here. Don't like they're trying to figure out a way, because language dies all the time. They were trying to figure out a way to communicate to future life. Don't fucking dig here.
I mean, I assume like the sort of skull and crossbones thing and the radiation symbol are kind of universal, aren't they?
Yes, but they're only relevant to us. For a new system, that could mean, like, obviously Krypton, gratitude. Another species, any symbol you create could mean something completely different to them. So they were really trying to figure out a way to make sure people never digged here. Dug here?
Would dig there.
Yes, would dig there.
We are English, and yes, we have GCSEs.
Yes.
Yeah. So nuclear power, I think, is a good thing. I'm trying to think of like bad inventions that have sort of been detrimental to the human existence.
Oh,
now this is tricky because humans don't deliberately invent stuff that is harmful to us.
True, the gun was originally meant to just be a bottle opener.
Yeah, and also, but you have stuff like booze. Like booze actually, like fundamentally, is very bad for us, but we invented it and we love it.
I think the culture that's come around it is absolutely phenomenal. Like, you get so many different breweries and proprietors that's made every different kind of alcohol, from beer to mead to wine to cider to whiskey, everything. Yeah. It's its own society. And it's amazing. There's so much creativity. Again, there are professions all around it, not just barmen, like cocktail experts and the like, master brewers and everything.
Yeah, but fundamentally, alcohol is alcohol, and alcohol is bad for the body.
So's life.
Yeah.
Life will kill you.
Alcohol will speed up the process.
Oh yes, everyone wants to be 100, don't they?
Yeah, exactly. But humans, we like to feel good. And like with alcohol, we like to feel good, even to the point where we knowingly ingest things that are bad for us. What does that say about us? I don't really know.
Humans are naturally self-destructive. Like, we do things... Our curiosity history has shown us mankind's curiosity far outweighs their sense of self-preservation. Like, the amount of people that jumped off the cliff because they might be able to fly.
Yeah. And also, there will always be that one person, in the village that wants to see what's on the other side of the hill.
Absolutely. Well, to be honest, in a fun way, in terms of historically ancient cultures, mankind's original idea of God was a sacred voice in a cave that only the priests were allowed in. But eventually, mankind went inside the cave and they couldn't find God.
Yeah, is that, but are they though? Oh, no, look.
So where did God go after that? God went into the mountains. And mankind wasn't able to climb mountains yet, so that's where God was. Then mankind climbed the mountains, wasn't there.
Yeah.
So where is he? He's in the sky. Mankind can't go in the sky yet, but we ain't birds, we can't fly there. Mankind creates planes, he's not there. Where is he? He's in space.
Yeah, he's higher.
And eventually we got to space and he wasn't there, and then someone just pulled out the everything-proof shield and said he exists outside of our reality.
Outside of our reality.
A few thousand years and someone pulls out the everything-proof shield.
I can already hear the edgelords, and maybe to some degree I do agree with them, but it's not going to be a rant or anything because we've gone long enough.
Oh, yep.
But
yeah, we never last an hour in anything else, do we?
But religion is something that people have killed over and died over for as long as humans have sort of been around, really.
Yeah.
And that's all I'm going to say on the matter. We're not going to turn this into a religious rant because I don't care enough.
I don't think a religious themed episode would go over too well. And again, I'm not saying whether me or Rob do hold religious beliefs and all that sort of thing, because it doesn't matter. If you guys found out I was Jewish, not saying I am, I might be, but would that influence how you heard any of my opinions?
If it does, then you probably got to start asking questions about yourselves and not him.
Well, exactly. It doesn't matter what I am. Anyway, but...
But that is something that humans have killed each other over for a long time.
And will continue to. Isn't the future fun? Yeah, so much history. Rob, for any final thoughts on the future?
It's all fucked, and I'm glad that humans do have a lifespan that will eventually end.
I hope to live long enough to see a duck moonwalk.
Oh yeah, okay. So I would like to see that. I would like that to be the last thing that I see before I die.
You could choose the way you die.
Yeah.
Imagine that, you end up being an absolute billionaire and it's written in your will, none of you will get a penny unless you can make a duck moonwalk for me on my deathbed. Otherwise, it all goes to Jerry the molester down the street or something, I don't know.
Jerry the molester down the street. I would pay a hitman to kill Jerry the molester down the street.
Well, who says for all you know, he could just molest cats or something?
That's still like bestiality.
Oh, okay, but you leave all the takeaways open.
Well, which ones?
I'm not going to say because that'd be racist, Rob. Any takeaway could eat cats.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, Christ.
Exactly. Any takeaway can eat cats. Anyone can really eat cats.
Well, with enough determination and a sharp fork.
Well, yeah, exactly. And you gotta...
See that, kids? Aim for the stars. Any of you could eat a cat if you wanted to. Think what else you could do.
Yeah, like eat a possum.
What's that?
It's like a little sort of rodent-y kind of thing.
Yeah, don't eat that. That sounds gross. Maybe fry it or something.
Unless it is nice. I don't know. I've never eaten possum.
Have it like someone...
I mean, it's vermin, so I don't know why you would eat it. But, rabbits are also classed as vermin, so, like, you can eat rabbit.
Hare's better.
Is it?
Hare's tougher. It's gamier.
Oh, is it? I haven't eaten hare.
Anyway.
Pigeon's alright.
No one gives a fuck. This is not historic. Right, everybody.
Yeah.
Make sure you stay tuned in for our next episode because, like I said before, it's going to be something very spooky.
Ooh. No, wait, that was way too sexual. Ooh.
For me, that was sexual. Right, everybody. Absolutely stay cool. Please feel free to flood the comments with anything you'd like me and Rob to answer. We'll be more than happy to. Next week, we are doing a Halloween-themed episode, so maybe some spooky questions.
Yes.
You sound like Fat Albert.
I look like him too. And until next time, stay young, stay gold, and you've been listening to...
Laughing